Well, the Kansas City media blackout continues. 6:05. Good morning. Happy Friday. We have made it to the end of the week, and we are glad you're here with us on KCMO Talk Radio. So yesterday, we came on the show very early, and we told you that this man who allegedly tried to molest two girls at Smithville Lake on July 4th had a detainer put out on him by ICE. And you would think that other local media would jump on this. I mean, you would think they would want to know about this. They all reported on this. Channel 9, Channel 4, 41, 5. You'd think they'd all want to do something with this. The Kansas City Star. I mean, I had it on very good authority. We shared it first here on 95.7 FM. And you would think that other media might be interested in this story. Right? I mean, it's terrible what could have happened up there. These two girls who are under 14 are swimming at Smithville Lake on July 4th. And this 26-year-old man comes up to them and tries to take off their swim bottoms and says he wants to bring them back to Mexico with him. You'd think they report that. You'd think they'd be interested in learning more about the story. These girls are able to fend off this individual. Name is Carlos Climaco Garcia, and they're able to tell their parents. Their parents get the police involved. The police arrest this man. I mean, that's very unusual at Smithville Lake. That stuff doesn't happen here. And it did on one of the biggest holidays of the year, especially for swimming up at Smithville Lake. And what are you getting instead? A complete Kansas City media blackout. Like, you don't have to be a father of three daughters like I am to care about this story. Maybe it hits home a little bit more for someone like me, but you just have to be someone who cares about other people. You just have to be somebody who cares about children. You also have to be somebody who cares about getting to the bottom of the news cycle and the news stories in this town, and are not putting on your blinders and acting like, well, if this makes maybe my political side look bad, I don't want to touch this thing with a 10-foot pole. You have to be able to do all those things to just simply report on this story. And they're not difficult things to do. Let's be very clear. They're not. So no one has updated. Well, I take that back. One media outlet in town has updated their story since we shared the news yesterday that this Carlos Climaco Garcia, who allegedly grabbed two young teenage girls and started to grope them and tried to remove their swimsuits at Smithville Lake, has had a detainer placed on him by ICE. And the only media outlet that did this was Channel 5. Now, Channel 5 reached out to the Clay County Prosecutor's Office, and what they said is they are unaware if this man is in the U.S. legally or illegally. Now, that's fair. I don't know that right now. I'm just saying ICE has placed a detainer on him because they want to talk to the guy. But here's what Channel 5 goes on the report. The only ones who have done any updating on this story. A probable cause statement claimed Garcia was in the U.S. with only a Guatemalan ID. The state also said he was accompanied by someone who had an ICE detainer. Now, I talked to my sources, and I said, hey, Channel 5 is reporting from the Clay County Prosecutor's Office that this guy, Climaco Garcia, was with somebody else who had an ICE detainer. And they said, yeah, they're just not sharing the full story right now. The Clay County Prosecutor's Office said they can't confirm whether or not he's an undocumented immigrant. They also said it's unclear if ICE is involved at this time. Okay, well, I'm once again doubling down and reiterating to you that ICE has put out a detainer for this individual. That's what's happened here. Now, we also know that the Clay County Prosecutor's Office, led by Zachary Thompson, he's been very gun-shy when it comes to media in the wake of the Andrew Lester, Ralph Yarl situation from over 2 years ago now. That was the story that, of course, went worldwide when Andrew Lester, the 80-some-odd-year-old white man, shot Ralph Yarl at his home when Ralph Yarl showed up to the wrong house, a young black boy, to pick up his brother. And that got worldwide attention because of, obviously, the racial components involved. Ever since then, Zachary Thompson, who is a, solid prosecutor, but he's been very gun shy. He's been very hesitant to do too much with the media. It's almost like, from what I've gathered in talking to multiple people, kind of like a PTSD thing going on. He just doesn't really want any part of the media. He's totally avoiding media, and he's not going to give the media any more than he absolutely has to. And I suppose that's his prerogative, but I'm telling you, that situation, that changed him. And he hasn't exactly made a lot of friends up there in Clay County, whether it's judges or law enforcement or anybody else, in the wake of that deal a couple of years ago. But still, he's trying to do a good job, and overall, he's a good prosecutor, but he's not going to be the guy that's getting out there front and center right now. It's just not who he's been the last couple of years. So they are keeping some of the important details fairly close to the vest right now. But it is amazing how bad of a job this city's media has done on this story. It's like they've totally buried it. And if we get any updates on it, I promise you it's not going to be from the Kansas City Star. It's going to be here. So if this is the kind of story that you care about, well, this is the only place to be on 95.7 FM and streaming on the KCMO Talk Radio app as we kick it off on a Friday morning on KCMO. Now, it's not just here, right? Like, this is part of the problem when you have an administration that runs wide open borders for the better part of 4 years. You're going to have really bad people in parts of the country, and no one really knows who they are, what their intentions are, or what they're doing until they try to potentially pull off some kind of crime like what you saw at Smithville Lake. But you only have to go up to Nebraska, where ICE agents, if you didn't see this, ICE agents arrested an MS-13 kingpin in Nebraska who was wanted for 5 murders. I mean, this is not just a Texas deal, right? We got this guy in Kansas City now, Smithville Lake. We don't know what happened there. We don't have all the details. We know ICE wants to reach out and talk to him. We got ICE now arresting an MS-13 kingpin up in Nebraska who's wanted for nearly 6 murders. He's on El Salvador's 100 most wanted list. So these are the kind of people who, it's not all of them. Like, if it's 10, 12, 15 million people who came into the country during Joe Biden's 4 years, I'm not implying that that's 12 million drug dealers and child molesters and murderers. No, that's not the case. But if it's a small fraction, that's still thousands, right? And that's what the administration right now is trying to get to the bottom of. And those are the people at the top of the list that they're trying to arrest. Not the guy or the mom who's been here for 20 years, who's, got some work history in this country. That's not the person who's anywhere near the top of the target list for ICE. And it shouldn't be the person who's near the top of the target list for ICE. They're doing the work that, frankly, the American people hired them to do back in November. And the polling, not that it really should matter, but the icing on the cake here is that the polling is overwhelmingly in favor of what the administration is doing on this specific issue. And I don't see anything that's going to change that. Because as we get more of these stories out of Nebraska, which got national attention, or the local story here in Smithville Lake, people are going to say, yeah, no, absolutely. I don't want those people in Kansas City. I don't want them in the country, whether it's Nebraska, Texas, Kansas, Missouri, doesn't matter. I don't want them here. And they have no right, most importantly, to be here. Coming up on KCMO Talk Radio, 95.7 FM. So on a similar front, there was a big ICE raid yesterday that got national attention. And there were a bunch of protesters out there. But they left out a very important tidbit that really encapsulates what the story's about. We'll share that with you coming up next on a Friday morning on KCMO Talk Radio. So there was a big ICE raid yesterday in California, and it was at a farm. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, posted here on X video, and it reads as follows. The governor of California writes, kids running from tear gas, crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. Trump calls me new scum, but he's the real scum, says old Gav. That was Gavin Newsom responding to President Trump and to ICE.
She's a real beauty.
Yeah. This is what it sounded like yesterday. So you would think, like, okay, there's a lot of people not telling the full story here. ICE did the right thing. This was an absolute no-brainer. They swarmed Ventura County fields. And if you read Gavin Newsom and some of the people who are not telling you the whole story about this, what was it? It was a marijuana facility. Are we now going to go down the road of, what will we do without the illegals picking our weed? That's what they would say about the farms, right? Who's going to pick our crops? Harkening back to, 160 years ago from, by the way, the same political party in the country that is now saying, who's going to pick my weed? Who will help me get stoned? How can I stay high all day without our illegals to pick our crops? Some breaking news on this story. 10 juveniles were found at the marijuana facility. All illegal. 8 of them were unaccompanied. This is now under investigation for child labor violations. Gavin Newsom left that out of his cute little social media post, right? He just portrayed it as kids running from tear gas. These kids were being abused at the facility. They were children who were also in the country illegally, who were working at this marijuana farm. Is that the America that we want? Is it? You tell me. I mean, there's a lot in this story that is not the America that we want. 913-408-7957. I mean, just that story alone is not going to be the story that turns people on the president's immigration policies. It's not. A lot of people are going to look at this and say, we got to protect kids from these predator farmers, whether it's marijuana or anything else. It's not really about the marijuana, but if you're claiming it's about picking certain crops and like feeding the American people, that certainly goes out the window with this story, John.
Where's the ACLU? These kids surely weren't getting minimum wage.
Yeah, that's a great point as well.
They're not getting paid what they're worth.
ACLU is nowhere to be found on this one. Great point. So ask yourself why that might be the case. And then say, is this what you want for these children, right? Of course not. Even if these kids come here and they're with somebody who's illegal, I mean, that's not on them, right? The children are not responsible for that. So however you feel about that situation, you don't want these kids on a marijuana farm working God knows what hours, under what kind of circumstances and conditions. If nothing else, I mean, no one should have the backs of the marijuana farmer in this whole story. To me, that's not even up for debate. So that right now is the lead story on Fox. And, of course, those who are trying to spin it aren't giving you all the details. I also find it fascinating that protesters clashed with these federal authorities yesterday during this immigration raid at a marijuana farm that was allegedly employing illegal immigrants. How do the protesters just seemingly know where to go? Like, I have not seen the answer to that yet. I don't know what the answer is. I'm just saying that if there's something that throws me for a loop, it's that. The fact that we have protesters who just know exactly where to be based on what ICE is doing. Are they getting tipped off? Who's tipping them off? Local authorities, state authorities, federal authorities? I don't know. But you've got all these protesters in their COVID masks, and man, what a dead giveaway that is. When you got the COVID mask thing going, I mean, you can't be taken seriously. It's the middle of July in a farm in Southern California and you're in a COVID mask, John, please.
Where's AOC when all this is happening? Do we need to page AOC to the fence, please? Drop to your knees, all the kids, and weep for the kids.
Yep, that's a great point. Absolutely outstanding point. So just know that if you're seeing that national story pop up, having all the details, definitely an important thing to do. Now, back here in Kansas City, some of you were asking about this on the text line. Pete, with your conversation around Smithville Lake earlier, and now this story in California, what about the Kansas City Police Department and what they recovered this week? Do we have any more information on that? Great question. Kansas City Police, if you missed it, recovered 52 pounds of meth and 10,000 fentanyl pills in a series of drug busts across the city. Those who are arrested are as part of the bust will be facing federal charges. They had canines involved, and the police department told Fox 4 it is not able to disclose the number of people who were arrested due to the sensitive nature of the ongoing investigations. I don't have much more than that right now, but I'm happy to do a little digging and find out maybe who these people are, because you know and I know that story ends there with your local media for multiple reasons. One, they're not really interested in highlighting a lot of the great things that area law enforcement are doing. I mean, they'll cover the story, but they're not going to go much deeper than that. Number two, if there are people involved who might change or support a narrative around the national political discussion, they're definitely not touching that one, right? They're staying as far away from that as they can for obvious reasons, like the story out of Smithville Lake. So anything that's going to potentially make cops look good, make cops look valuable, and God forbid, have some element of drug trafficking with people who should not be here to begin with. Two big no-nos. Not happening. So I will have to put on the old investigator's cap today and let you know what I find out. We're doing well. You know, we're supposed to be just entertainment here, talking about it, reacting to it, having a good time. We're doing too much investigative journalism around here, John. This is getting to be a lot of work, carrying the load for the Kansas City media.
Super sleuth.
It's just a lot, man. But you know what? Anything for the station, anything for the company, anything for the firm. We'll do what we've got to do around here. Coming up on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM and always streaming on the KCMO Talk Radio app. I really hope that Mayor Lucas wins this lawsuit that he just got hit with. It involves Harrison Butker, Chiefs kicker. We'll get you the details coming up next. Man, I hope the city of Kansas City, Missouri just smokes this employee on this lawsuit. Everybody and anybody is suing Kansas City. The amount of money that this city pays out in lawsuits is really gross. And a message has to be sent. You're seeing it left and right. You're seeing it whether it's in the police department, whether it's in the water department, whether it's just city employees like Chris Hernandez and that ridiculous settlement that he got as the former communications staffer from City Hall. This is all your money, by the way. I mean, there's no pot of gold that just falls out of the air that they pay out these lawsuits with. They're paying this with your money. And every huckster attorney who's looking to make a buck is convincing former or current city employees that, hey, don't worry, city will pay you out. I'll take my cut, I'll take my commission, and you're going to turn yourself into a wealthy person by filing a lawsuit against City Hall. It's ridiculous. And it's not a, right-left issue. If you just care about the taxpayer dollars, this is a huge waste of money, and we're seeing it left and right. So here's what's going on now. 2 Kansas City communication staffers feared for their safety after they were falsely accused last year of doxing Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker on the city's social media account. So you may recall that after Harrison Butker's big speech, graduation speech, commencement speech at Benedictine, obviously that thing went worldwide, right? So what happened here and what the Kansas City Star is writing is that these women were subjected to hateful, racist, and misogynistic threats and feared that they might be harmed by online anonymous thugs. Now, they are both suing the city, claiming that Mayor Lucas and other city officials refused to clear their names, which damaged their reputation and allowed the harassment to continue. Oh, this is so exhausting. So exhausting. Do you remember what happened on social media at the time? At the time, what you had was there was a post from the Kansas City, Missouri social media account that was like, Harrison Butker doesn't live in Kansas City. He's a Lee's Summit resident. Or that was the post from the Kansas City, Missouri.
They were just glad he wasn't from Kansas City.
Yes.
That he was from Lee's Summit.
Yes. There was this post that went viral after Harrison Butker went viral, sharing that, hey, good thing, don't worry, he's not one of us.
It was a sophomoric use of public tools.
Yes, exactly. It was really a bad look for the official Kansas City, Missouri X account, but that's what they did at the time. Now, no one for a second in the real world is like, this is an indictment on every person who works in the communications department in Kansas City, Missouri. It obviously was like one, maybe two people who just had really poor judgment. But now what you've got is you've got other people who were working for the city communications department at the time suing, insisting that Quinton Lucas should have done more to protect them individually. That is absurd. And I hope like heck, first off the city fights this. Like, even if it costs some money to fight the lawsuit, you got to send a message that you can't just settle every stinking lawsuit that you guys get across your desk. That's just going to lead to more people trying to figure out reasons to sue you. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not saying what I'm about to say is not true for everybody who works in government. It's not. But there are definitely people that work for government who, frankly, are lazy and looking for an easy way out. And if you become a place where you can just do whatever you want and then file a lawsuit and get your way and get your payout and not actually then work after the fact, people are going to keep doing it. You've got thousands of city employees. It only takes a few bad apples to put the city in a very precarious financial spot with these lawsuits.
So, like, I started this fire, and then I got burned by the fire.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need some compensation.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm going to need some help.
You created the mess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Absolutely. So, like, I just have zero sympathy. Zero for these city employees. You have these coworkers who are alleging in a court filing that city officials did too little to clear her name after she was misidentified as being responsible for a May of 2024 post on X that said Butker lives in Lee's Summit and not Kansas City. The person who wrote it was trying to, in a sarcastic way, distance Kansas City from the comments Butker made at Benedictine. Neither woman had anything to do with the post after another person with access to the city's X account was found to be responsible and was eventually fired. Okay, so they fire that person, but now the lawsuit by these other employees is that the city didn't do enough to protect them? Online harassers are going to do their thing. I'm not defending them. I get them all the time. Trust me, I wake up to online harassers in my X and my Facebook, and not as much on my Instagram because that's just like family photos and, you know, the girls and I being goofballs. That's mostly what my Instagram is for. But certainly on Twitter, now X, and to a lesser extent on Facebook. I wake up to that stuff every day. What is Quinton Lucas going to do? DM the username Bob785432, who doesn't actually have his face or his name on his X account, and say, knock it off there, Bob. Like, what is the mayor going to do in that situation? You tell me. This lawsuit's got to be tossed. And I hope that the city fights it, and I hope that they win. And the attorneys need a message here, too, because, man, these guys are getting greedy. And the state of Missouri, too, they've got to fix their deal. Because right now, I mean, Missouri's a free-for-all for these slip and fall guys. It's just ridiculous. Now, the other thing happening right now with Mayor Lucas is something he said yesterday here on this show. We've got Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe coming to North Kansas City today. He's going to sign a bill, and the bill is going to allow Clay County to create its own sports commission, a la Jackson County. Theoretically, that would help the team or help the county get a team like the Royals. But Mayor Lucas threw this thing for a curveball yesterday when he said something on this show. I asked him about Mike Kehoe coming to North Kansas City, and I said, what do you think that means for the Royals potentially moving up to the Northland? And here's what the mayor said.
I actually see that largely as a Chiefs practice facility discussion. As you probably know, others may not. The Chiefs have made fairly clear that they're not returning to St. Joseph for training camp. There are different views on that too, but and they're looking at opportunities elsewhere, particularly for a practice facility. I think the Northland has been a strong part of that conversation. Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City North has also been part of the pitches in connection with that, and so I think the Sports Commission allows that as well. I won't say the bill is much ado about nothing, but it's great to have a sports commission. You got to have a big old revenue source too to help support things like that. Kansas City, Missouri is good at building those. That's why we've been in the practice facility discussion, but I don't think it necessarily means anything. It certainly doesn't mean anything more than this Monday's kind of nothing burger of the state of Kansas extending things.
So Quinton Lucas throwing out there that maybe what North Kansas City is actually in the mix for is a Chiefs practice facility. Now, I had heard that from some of the folks up in the Northland, but obviously their preferred target is going to be the Royals. 81 nights a year. We know the economics of that far superior to a Chiefs practice facility. Not bad, but of those two options, if you're Clay County, if you're North Kansas City, it's not even close. Now, I can also share with you the owners of the property up there in North Kansas City have a very strong relationship with Clark Hunt. They are friends down at their time at SMU and down in Texas. So that relationship does exist. But Quinton Lucas throwing it out there for the first time that maybe North Kansas City is also a spot for the Chiefs and a practice facility. And he's not wrong on that, but I can tell you that's definitely a backup option to the Kansas City Royals going up to that Northland spot where they've got about 100 acres in North Kansas City, just due south of Armour Road, that they are going to develop. The question is, will it be with a sports franchise or something completely different? You ready for that defunding of NPR? It can't come soon enough, man. That would be a summer gift we're all waiting for. 7:05, good morning. It is great to have you here on KCMO Talk Radio. Do you realize the happy dance we will do? I know we could take video of it and post it on social media. But, it's a Friday. We're all in a good mood here. The only thing that could make this Friday better is if Republicans actually went out there and got President Trump's rescissions bill passed. It's a $9 billion cut in spending that basically has already been earmarked for. And that would include NPR and PBS to the tune of, it's about a $9 billion package. That's not all for NPR and PBS, obviously, but they would be included in this rescissions package where basically they claw back some of the money that's already been earmarked for at the federal government level. And they're not doing it. Republicans are just dragging their feet on this matter. Now, the president posted on X or on, Truth Social yesterday, it is very important that all Republicans adhere to my rescissions bill, and in particular, defunding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, PBS and NPR, which is worse, he writes, than CNN and MSDNC put together.
Fake news.
Any Republican that votes to allow this monstrosity to continue broadcasting will not have my support or endorsement. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh, we got it. We got the thank you for the attention to this matter. Oh, man, that's how you know he's not screwing around, right? That's how you know the president's serious about this. So I shared this yesterday, and I just reposted it on X and simply wrote, thank you for your attention to this matter. One of the most underrated and hilarious endings to a Trump social media post ever. And I love that he's using it, and I love that he's leaning into it. But this is something that cannot happen soon enough. And I don't know why these guys and gals in Congress overcomplicate these things. I genuinely don't understand what takes so long. Now, I've said, and I do believe that PBS will be okay. I think PBS will have generous donors who will make up some of the shortfall, and they'll be fine, whether it's in Kansas City or at the national level. They'll save Sesame Street, all right? I promise you that'll happen. They'll save, and they should save, programs like our friend Nick Haynes. And I'm not just saying that because he's on there. I think they do a good job down the middle, well-versed, well-thought-out show for Kansas City. And, I think that they'll get the donations that they need. NPR, totally worthless. No need for it. Very much leaning left-wing. And they can compete in the free marketplace. They have every right to exist. I have no issue with NPR doing its thing. None whatsoever. It's competition. That's great. But it shouldn't be competition funded by our taxpayer monies. Of all the things that we waste money on at the federal government level, ask yourself this on a Friday. You're getting up. You're going to work. Maybe you've had your coffee. I'm halfway done with mine. Is there anything that bothers you more than wasting money on a media outlet that most likely doesn't have anywhere close to the same values as you? It's not like, hey, if you don't like this show or another show, whatever, you flip the dial. It's no big deal. You don't want to support our sponsors. I mean, that's your prerogative. We would love for you to do that. That's what keeps us going here on KCMO. But it's no skin off your back if you don't. But your taxpayer money, the money that you are handing to the government, going to fund a radio station? And not just this one in Kansas City, but all over the country? Is there anything more obscene and more offensive than that right now? Especially at a time when, if there's one thing we don't need the government to fund, it's media. There is no shortage of radio, TV, YouTube channels, information out there, wherever you want to get it. The government has no business funding radio like NPR, especially when they're nothing but hucksters for one side and grifters for one side of the political aisle, which is clear as day. So I posted this last night. I got some weird responses on this whole thing. I couldn't believe this. Dylan writes back to me. He's a KU guy. I know this.
Talk about a bombshell.
KU guy writes to me, should we defund Fox News because they lean a certain way with their broadcasting? And I just wrote back, is this a serious post? If you can't understand the difference between NPR and Fox News as it relates to government funding, then I can't help you. I woke up to that this morning and I kind of rubbed my eyes at 4 a.m. And I'm like, am I dreaming right now? Am I seeing? Did someone really write that back to me on my social media? Were they drinking last night? Are they not really understanding the difference between NPR and Fox News? One who gets a big chunk of money from the government, the other one who has nothing to do with government funding, John?
A commercial advertiser, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was stunned.
I'm sure Fox would be glad to take anything.
Yeah.
Free stamps for the mailroom, anything. Postal machine.
Oh, man. I just couldn't believe that. It's like, what are they teaching at KU? When you have serious graduates who work in media who are going into my mentions and saying to themselves, hey, we got a great idea. Let's compare Fox to NPR as if they're both receiving government dollars, said nobody ever.
I got an idea. What if we give NPR exactly what Fox gets?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Equitable.
Yes. Only fair. Spot on there, my man. Only fair. On the text line, 913-408-7957. Oh, this is great. Pete, I work for a pretty progressive company, and I decided yesterday to start closing my emails with a thank you for your attention to this matter. I'll report back when or if I get a call from HR. Oh, that's outstanding. It's a great idea, too. Should I steal that idea?
It's the standard reply on my Microsoft Word document. It auto-filled for me.
Every time.
Every time. Oh, man, every time I'm emailing an engineer or the promo department or sales managers or sales staff, I'm going to end it with a thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, the question is, do you put an exclamation point on it too, like Trump does in all of his tweets, or do you just put a comma at the end? Because that might be a dead giveaway for some people. Someone's going to pick up on it at some point.
Exclamation for sure.
It depends on the situation.
Yeah.
You're issuing a directive.
Yes. Yeah, but
Otherwise, if you're just making a general, this is my out. Have a nice day. Thank you for your attention to this matter. 3 dots.
Yeah,
Dot,
or do the dot thing. That drives me a little nuts, but I may have to do that just to split the difference here. On the text line, Pete, there are 3 radio stations in Kansas City claiming they will be hurt by public funds getting cut. Why are we paying these stations money? They only have one view. Yeah, bingo. There is zero reason for any of us to fund this. None whatsoever. Coming up on KCMO, and the sooner the better for Congress to just do this rescissions package. It's like this can be done in a day. And for some reason, it takes these guys and gals forever. Coming up, Mark may find himself as a household name here in Kansas. I mean, he already is on radio, but he may be a star in this town before long. That's right. He may find himself in a position where everybody in this town knows his mugshot. We'll tell you why and what he's got going on and what we have going on. Coming up on 95.7 FM, KCMO. Got my visit with our good buddy Bill coming up here in about 10 days. We will be hanging out, catching up. I'm going to try to twist his arm to get out to Kansas City, maybe. Dare I say, this fall. I will make the pitch as best I can and let the chips fall where they may. And then, if we can pull that off, he can meet maybe the next TV rock star from Kansas City, our very own Mark Van Sickle. Mark, I know you can't share all the details, but you asked me a few weeks ago if you could audition for a television miniseries? How do we want to describe this?
Yeah, it was called an Untitled Casey series.
Television. Might it have some rhyming with Lead Tasso or something like that? Might that be in the mix?
Potentially. I really don't know.
Okay.
It says Casey Untitled Series.
Yeah.
I saw it was in some articles, around town, Fox 4, KCTV5, doing some stuff about this place possibly being filmed in the area. I don't know.
All right. So you asked and you wanted to apply to be what? A fill-in, a stand-in? Is that what we're calling this?
Yeah, I applied to be a stand-in or also an extra.
Okay. All right.
So stand-in, I would fill in for a main character and just stand there as they do the lighting and stuff like that. So I don't know if I would actually technically be on the camera if that's the case.
So it sounds like an extra is a better deal.
An extra, I think, would put me possibly in some shots.
Yes, so we would see your mug.
Yeah.
Okay. What do they pay for this?
It looks like they're paying $150 per day.
And we're talking a full 8-hour day?
Yeah.
All right. It's not great. It's not bad. I mean,
just to stand there.
It's easy work to stand around, I guess, right?
Yeah.
There's no lines or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
It could be a career starter, though, in many respects. Do you know, does the stand-in pay the same as the extra? Or are they different paychecks?
Oh, that's a good question.
See, I just think if they're using your name, image, likeness as an extra, that should be worth more than just being the stand-in guy while they check the lighting.
Yeah, that's true. I do believe the stand-ins will get their names in the credits, though.
Oh.
I don't think extras will.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't see that coming. So the stand-ins get their names in the credits, but the extras don't.
I believe that's how it works.
Wow. Okay. Well, if you need someone to negotiate on your behalf, just let me know because I think the extras should still get a little more coin. If they're using that big, beautiful beard of yours with you got to wear a Royals hat or a Chiefs hat or something like that.
That was the funny thing. They said on the headshots, they're like, no hats. So I had to dig back into the bag for that.
So you had to get a real headshot to apply for this gig, and they told you they're interested.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, just remember us little people like myself and John when you hit it big time, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Be right there.
All right. So you're going to find out here in the next couple of weeks, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Got to be before the end of July, so.
Because the shooting's coming up here in about 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And the shooting's on the Missouri side of the state line?
Yes. For that one series, they said in Blue Springs.
Ooh, yes. All right. All right, Mark. Well, you keep us posted, man. I know this audience has your back.
I could end up potentially as a stand-in and as an extra.
Oh,
there is that possibility.
There is that possibility.
Yeah, that was in one of the emails I saw.
Double dipping.
So, yeah, I could be a parent, teacher, or coach.
Parent? Allegedly. Oh, you make a great coach.
I think I could be a coach.
You make a, parent. I mean, listen.
I'm a parent.
You are a parent. But I think you'd make a great coach.
Thank you.
Listen, if I'm casting and I see Mark walk in, that guy's got coach written all over him.
Yeah, I go in as a stand there like, hey, we need you as a coach as well.
Hey, Coach V, you get over here. That's right. Oh, man, you would be a natural at that. That's outstanding. And we got a rising star in our hands here. John and I are just trying to keep up with old Mark once he hits the big screen there, John.
Bring a lanyard with a whistle in your pocket so you can whip it out, put it on if you need it.
Yeah.
Great advice.
That is great. You got to do that, Mark. We're just trying to help here, buddy. Now, yesterday, I saw some folks on social media going to see the new Superman movie that came out. I don't know if you guys are going to be going to see that. I don't know if you're going to take the girls, Mark, to see the new Superman movie.
I'd probably go with a friend.
Okay.
I don't think I'd take them to it.
Yeah, I would think that's the play. Not sure it's for little girls. But it came out. There was a lot of speculation that it was going to be a wokeified Superman. But the feedback that I've seen so far on social media from people who would have been very quick to suggest that they wokeified Superman have insisted that's not the case. So do with this what you want, but Superman, according to the reviews I'm seeing and just the organic feedback I'm seeing, is that Superman was not wokeified in this movie that came out yesterday.
I already saw a handful of friends on Facebook have already seen it, and they all gave great reviews. So.
Yeah. So good for them. And you know what? I'm glad. I want it to be good. Like, I didn't want Superman to be this kind of woke guy who's like, you know what? I might decide to be Superwoman this time around. Like, I didn't want any of that. And the reviews have come back positive on that front. So good thing all around there. Gonna pivot here. We got some breaking news out of North Kansas City. This comes from one of the commissioners up there for the Western District, Jason Withington. Major update in the ongoing stadium decision saga, this time from North Kansas City. Jason Withington sharing that the Royals have contacted them with terms for a possible stadium deal in the Northland. Sharing here that Clay County has received a term sheet from the team outlining their vision for a potential deal at the North Kansas City site. KCTV5 has reached out to the Royals and is actively contacting other cities to confirm whether counties outside of Clay have received similar terms from the Royals. Now, this doesn't mean that it's a done deal by any stretch, but it's certainly a development in the entire process. So this news here just breaking in the last couple of minutes. I just wanted to get this to you quickly on KCMO that once again, if you missed it, the Royals have contacted Clay County, and the county has received a term sheet from the team outlining their vision for a potential deal. Now, not a done deal, certainly a little different from what the mayor of Kansas City said yesterday at this time when he alluded to the fact that North Kansas City is actually going to be a better fit for the Chiefs practice facility than it is the Kansas City Royals. He's holding out hope, of course, for Washington Square Park. And the other development today is that you have the governor of Missouri coming up to North Kansas City. Mike Kehoe will be at Chapels today to sign the Clay County Sports Authority bill that will allow Clay County to develop its own sports authority, similar to what Jackson County has, that would theoretically oversee a team like the Royals being in Clay County. So that's all happening right now in real time. The other backdrop to this, I mean, this is going to be a hell of a book one day. You've got Jackson County recalling its executive, Frank White. And something that came down yesterday on this front is Mark Donovan, of course, the team president for the Kansas City Chiefs, telling Fox 4 this about their involvement in the recall effort of Frank White.
So we haven't had anything to do with that, nor do we want anything to do with that. They have their issues they got to work through.
We have not done anything when it comes to the recall effort of Frank White, and we want nothing to do with that. Now, I believe Mark Donovan there. I totally believe him. Because Frank White isn't really, while Frank White was a no vote and, of course, lobbied against the teams last year, extending that 3/8 sales tax, it was more about the Royals than it was the Chiefs, because we all know the personal history between Frank and the Royals. It's not healthy. It's not a good relationship. It wasn't, the Chiefs were very secondary in all this. I actually believe that Frank White, and from what I've gathered and heard, has been and would be more than willing to work with the Chiefs. The Royals are the problem from Frank White's perspective. They always have been. So I totally believe Mark Donovan, and I think he's completely telling the truth on that front. It's not about the Chiefs getting in the way. The Chiefs just want to get a deal done, and they are the easier part of this equation on the Missouri side of the state line, assuming that their plan on the Missouri side would be to just upgrade Arrowhead Stadium and then maybe do something with the surrounding grounds. That's a pretty simple deal. The voters would like it, and I don't think Frank would really get in the way of that. It's how do the Royals possibly strike a deal on the Missouri side of the state line, specifically in Jackson County, with the county executive acting as he is acting. If they actually do recall Frank White, that actually helps Quentin Lucas and helps the city of Kansas City try to keep the team in Jackson County. But there are a lot of roadblocks to making that happen. And that's why North Kansas City continues to look like a more appealing site by the day for the Royals. If they want to maintain that downtown vibe, have some views of downtown as well, but also having the benefits of being in Clay County, much more friendly when it comes to law enforcement, having the bodies, the support, lower taxes that they would be looking for, all that brings North Kansas City to the forefront. Along with having the backing of the state, it appears to be a better financial deal. I'm not saying on pure numbers. I know Kansas is up to 70% with these star bonds, but when you factor in some of the ancillary side of what Missouri can offer, I do think right now it appears to be a better deal than what Kansas can do, unless you get a local element in Kansas, right? Unless you get Overland Park or you get Johnson County or Wyandotte County stepping up to the plate in some capacity. All in, I still think Missouri appears like it will have a better deal on the table when all is said and done, especially if you get that local sales tax component to this whole thing. So that's the development this morning here on KCMO. Something else that was sent to me yesterday on this front. You know, we talked a lot about these star bonds and what they are in Kansas and how you can basically issue these bonds, create a district, and the additional sales tax funds would be used to pay off the bonds. Get a load of this. Lawrence Journal World. KU is asking for a star bond district that covers the entire KU campus, including the new development that's going on west of Iowa Street. Here's a piece of the article that I wanted to share with you. So basically, KU is trying to draw a star bond district to help out with their new stadium. This is totally bogus, by the way. However you feel about, it's not like a KU, anti-KU. You know, I don't have a dog in that fight. I don't. I'm not doing KU over K-State, K-State over KU, KU over Mizzou. I'm not playing in that space. At least until my kids go to one of those colleges, then I'll have no choice. I mean, if I'm footing the bill for one of these places, I might be a little biased. But right now, I got no skin in the game, okay? So they write here at the Lawrence Journal World. If for some reason the new development is a flop and the area around the stadium only produces $500,000 in sales taxes, the developers would not get any money for the Star Bonds. They would be left to figure out how to pay those costs on their own. However, KU is hedging its bets. It is asking the city commission to draw a very large Star Bond district. Instead of the district being in the area immediately around the stadium, the district is the entire KU campus, including West Campus. The Lawrence Journal-World notes that's very important because West Campus currently is developing with new commercial projects. A Dillon's grocery store is under construction. Plans for an Olive Garden restaurant are moving forward. If you're relying to pay back your Star Bonds on an Olive Garden, I don't like your odds. All right? I mean, unless you got John showing up eating all the breadsticks. Thus, when you buy groceries at Dillon's or eat 14 pounds of breadsticks at Olive Garden, a good portion of the sales taxes you pay on those purchases will be used to fund improvements at the stadium site. That's a freaking joke. I mean, you want to talk about a prime example of how to abuse Star Bonds? KU's trying to do it. And this is exactly what I would fear the Chiefs would try to do if they would go to the Kansas side of the state line.